It's time now for County-Wide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Brad Miller as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives here in Yavapai County. And now, here's today's County-Wide.
Welcome to County-Wide. I'm Paul David. Very good to have you in studio today. The Red Cross is back with us, the Red Cross Grand Canyon chapter. Brian Gomez in studio. We're going to talk about September is National Preparedness Month, and we want to make sure everybody's prepared for any type of emergency. So Brian came up from Phoenix. We had Trudy in, I think, just a few weeks ago, right after the Yarnell Hill fire and the Dosey fire were over, and she came in and kind of talked about her experiences with that. And one of the things we talked about, Brian, welcome to studio, by the way.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I'm so glad you came up because Brian is the guy who kept us informed during the fires. Brian sent out the press releases that said, okay, these are where the Red Cross shelters are. We've got this many people staying here. We're giving, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, water, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So you kept us informed when it was tough to get information during those fires.
Yeah, because things were happening so fast,
right.
and hour to hour, situation was changing, and the highway gets cut off, and one shelter turns into two shelters, and wildfires are pretty crazy, and it will typically only last 48 to 72 hours. And the actual fire portion of Yarnell was about that.
Mm-hmm. And you were actually on scene, correct?
Yeah, I was. Yeah. I was kind of everywhere. I was in Wickenburg. I was in Prescott. I was in Yarnell. A lot of time in Prescott after the firefighter deaths. Obviously, going into the memorial and kind of just bouncing around wherever needed.
You're a busy guy.
Yeah. It's,
You're a busy guy.
I wish I wasn't as busy.
Yeah, right.
Mother Nature would do us some favors.
Yeah, back off Mother Nature. But one thing we discussed with Trudy when she was here, and we just barely touched on it, and it's something we've done actually shows in the past with the Red Cross as well, and always one with National Preparedness Month, which is just coming up a few days away, and it's something that we all have to think about, and I need to think about it again too. I do have a kit like this sort of in my truck, but to be honest with you, it's not in my truck right now because I just bought a new truck, so I took it out, and now it's sitting in my hallway at home, so I need to get it back in there. But just some simple things you should take with you or always have prepared just in case the sheriff's office comes knocking on the door.
Yeah, and especially in this part of the state, you never know when a wildfire can happen. And as we saw in Yarnell, the notice from the sheriff's office sometimes isn't as fast as it could be just because of the nature of the fire. The fire can shift, and if the wind is blowing, it can be at your back door, a lot faster than you think.
And that's how that one was.
Yeah, exactly.
Yarnell Hill, I think at the beginning of the weekend, we saw it was like 6 to 8 acres.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden by Sunday night, it had become
it wasn't like, the sheriff's office was sitting around and not doing things. It was just that it spread so fast into such a heavily concentrated area that there just wasn't enough time to even get around to every single house that needed, just because of safety concerns.
Now, when you were at the shelters during both the Dosey and the Yarnell Hill fire, because there were evacuations during both of those, did you have many folks that came in that had a kit like we're going to show today?
Not very many. We talk a lot about preparedness at the Red Cross, but it's something that we kind of struggle to get people to implement because.
I don't think it's going to happen to me.
Yeah, and that's kind of the mentality. It's like drownings or shootings. Where and it is a very small percentage chance, but it could happen to you, and the worst thing you can do is not be prepared.
I say that to my kids, the what if factor. What if it does?
Yeah.
So.
And like you say, it's not just yourself. It's your family. It's people that you care about more. Your kids aren't going to prepare for themselves.
No.
Your wife might not prepare for themselves, or your mom or your dad who might be living with you. So sometimes you have to be the one, somebody in every household needs to be the one who takes pride in preparedness.
In charge of this particular project, which really doesn't take very long.
No, I mean, it's simple, a first aid kit.
Okay,
that's
first aid
something
kit.
You can buy at the store. We're talking about a radio. You can get valuable information from people like yourself during a disaster. you know, here's like ready to eat, you know, prepackaged food. It's something that like an astronaut would eat. Maybe not the
most tastiest thing, but it'll do.
And the point of this is just to get you through that first 12 to 24 hours. You know, if you're out the door and you're headed to a Red Cross shelter or you're hung up, you know, depending on how the fire goes, you know, you could be stranded, you could be stuck on a bus somewhere, you know, before you're able to get to our shelter. We have food and we'll have water and stuff, but you need to be prepared for yourself and your family before you get there.
As we're pulling this stuff out, I'm thinking to myself, this kit would be really a great kit to keep in the vehicle too, summer and winter as well. We've had a rescue guy in here, Al Cornell, and he talks about, he has told us stories. As you pull the rest of that stuff out, I'll kind of tell you the story, but he talks about how people get lost in the forest and they have nothing with them. That panic sets in because I don't have anything. I can't deal with this situation.
Exactly.
But if you have this with you, this is a little bit of ease on the mind to say, okay, I've got a first aid kit. If anybody gets hurt, I can take care of that. I've got a little bit of astronaut food, so okay.
Well, even like an emergency blanket. You know,
emergency blanket.
If you are stuck in the forest, you know, essentials like, you know, tissue and shampoo and you know, emergency drinking water.
Is that what this is right here?
All those packets are just, you know.
Now, where would you find things like this?
You know, if you go to like a Costco or kind of like a wholesale type of place, you know, or if you just go to redcross.org, you can pre-purchase a kit from us that already has most of the stuff in it.
Oh, really? The whole thing just comes?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, that's probably the easiest way. But all these are things that you probably already have around your house. You know, duct tape. You know, gloves. You know, a deodorant. You know, this isn't
very basic stuff.
A poncho. You know, stuff that's probably already there. A whistle. You know, if you're in the forest and you're lost.
You're in trouble or something. A whistle's good.
You know, like a big. This is like a big tarp. You know, if you needed to pitch a tent or
set it up and keep yourself dry.
An emergency. These are really helpful. They're kind of like glow stick. Kind of.
Additional light.
Yeah.
Something that if you were out in the forest, lost, and if you were to light this, if they were searching for you in a helicopter, they'd be able to find you really quick with something like that.
You know, a comb, toothpaste. You know, this isn't stuff that's, you know, a big expense. You could put this whole bag together for, you know, probably less than $25, $30.
And it all fits just in this little backpack, too.
Exactly. And you know, what we recommend is, like you said, having one in your vehicle and then having one in your house. You know, if you're going to put it in your vehicle and you're going to have batteries, though, make sure that you replace those. You know, with the summer, they'll get scorched. If it's in your house, make sure it's somewhere near your door, you know, near your front door. You're probably going to be running out your front door. Put it in a coat closet. Put it somewhere where you can just grab it, sling it on your back, and get out of there.
We're going to take a break. Brian Gomez with the Red Cross is in studio today. We're talking about September is National Preparedness Month. We want to make sure everybody's ready just in case somebody ever knocks on your door, you get lost, or you got to evacuate your home quickly. So stick around. Countywide, we'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Having a fire escape plan is very important to keep your family safe and together in the event of a fire. When you awake to the sound of a smoke detector and smoke in your room, don't stand straight up. Carefully roll off your bed and stay low under the smoke. If your door is shut, feel the door with the back of your hand. Slowly open the door if no heat is felt. Always stay low until you get to the outside of your home. Always have 2 ways out of your house and a specified meeting place somewhere outside your home. Home escape plans should be drawn up and rehearsed on a regular basis. This could be the difference between life and death if caught in a fire.
Here in northern Arizona and throughout Yavapai County, people count on Orkin Pest Control. With over 100 years of combined experience, nobody knows how to protect your home or your business from harmful or annoying pests like the Orkin Man. To start service, contact your Northern Arizona Orkin Pest Control. In the Verde Valley, call 567-5100 or Orkin Pest Control in the Prescott area at 775-8772.
Move over, AZ. Arizona's Move Over law requires you to move over or slow down when you drive past any vehicle pulled over with flashing lights. Any vehicle means emergency responders, roadside assistance, law enforcement, highway crews, even stranded motorists. Ignore the law and you could pay a fine. Remember, every vehicle, every time. Move over, AZ.
Sponsored by ADOT in partnership with the Arizona Broadcasters Association and this station.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and get them to a hospital immediately. Learn the body language and spot a stroke fast.
Welcome back to Countywide. Good to have you with us today. Brian Gomez from the Red Cross in studio today. National Preparedness Month is September. We got to think about what it is you need just in case the Yavapai County Sheriff's Office comes to your door and says, time to get out because there's a wildfire coming. You sent stories to us after the Yarnell Hill fire that were pretty scary from some of the residents down in Yarnell and kind of what they were experiencing as they were being told to evacuate. Can you share some of them?
We had, there was one woman down there who, was kind of watching the fire, it's a couple miles away. It's not threatening my house, but I can see these big, cool flames at night. Mm-hmm. And then, the next day, she's piling down the road and there's literally, like flames at her doorstep. The thing just changed and progressed so much faster. Technology is really amazing today with tracking fires and the amount of real-time updates we're able to get on fires. But the one thing that still lacks is just nobody can predict what these fires are going to do.
Right.
There's no way of predicting that. And with Yarnell, it was just a little rink-a-dink fire out there that really wasn't doing much and wasn't threatening anything. It was burning for days and days before the firefighters were tragically killed. And then it on that Sunday it just took off.
It changed. It was erratic.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. I mean, no one expects an emergency.
No.
We don't, but we should be ready just in case of one.
Yeah, and that's why something like an emergency preparedness kit is so important. And you see things here that you can pick up at the store that you probably already have around your house. The other really crucial things that we didn't touch on before is just medication. If anyone in your family is on medication, put some spare medication in your kit, and most importantly, write out exactly what the prescription is on a piece of paper and store it in your kit.
Okay, that's a good point.
Because if you're evacuated, you might forget to take your medication. Your medication here might be expired. You might not have enough to get you through a whole week at a shelter. Red Cross, we work with nurses at pharmacies like Walgreens, and we can expedite the prescription process. It's not like your average thing where you got to wait 3 to 5 days and it's ready for pickup. We can get you medication same day or next day at the latest. But we need to know what you're taking. You can't just come to us and say, I have a heart condition and I'm taking a pill for it.
Be specific about it when you write that stuff down.
Exactly what medication it is and how many pills you have to take and what frequency you take them at.
Okay.
The other thing that's missing here is a list of emergency contact numbers.
Okay.
You'll have a cell phone, but in a disaster, you might be calling everybody, letting them know, and that cell phone's going to die. And then you're not going to know. I couldn't tell you I can tell you my dad and my mom's cell phone number, but I couldn't tell you my girlfriend's cell phone number. I can probably tell
friends.
you. Yeah, friends. I have no idea what they're, we're just so programmed into finding that contact and just punching it in, and there it is. So write out those numbers. When you get to our shelter, we have dedicated landlines there, and you can borrow somebody else's cell phone, and you can still be in communication with them.
Something else I saw in Trudy's press release, the initial one she sent about the Preparedness Month, is, and something I would never think about, but I'm sure some folks do, but your pet. Pets are actually on medications now, which is kind of an odd thing, but pets actually have medications.
Yeah, or if they have a specified diet, pack some of that stuff in there. Even something like a leash. You might be running out the door with your dog and you forget his leash, and then you get out there and you know, you don't have time to pick up a leash during a disaster.
Right.
And that's the other thing too is, you know, if you are evacuating, it's easier than you think to forget about your pets, because you're so focused on your property and picking up, you know, some pictures or your most valuable items and your family, and you know, maybe you forget about your dog who's sleeping, or your cat, you know, who's not going to make a lot of noise.
Mm-hmm. So make sure you grab the pets as well. Now, you said plan. We talked about the kit, and I think we've done a pretty good job about that, but Red Cross wants you to have a plan too. Yeah,
we're asking families who are in disaster-prone areas, you know, any area up north where we could have a wildfire, to create an evacuation plan with your family and make sure you practice it. You know, it's something that takes no more than 10-15 minutes. Gather your family around the table and you know, just say, okay, here's you know, here's all our exits from our house. You know, so we know what the best way to go out is. If you know, create 2 exits though. You know, maybe you have a fire on the north side of your house and you can get out the backyard on the south side, and then find or pre-pick a place where you're going to meet. Maybe it's a neighbor's house, maybe it's the Walmart or your favorite restaurant. Pick a place and then a secondary place, because you might not be able to get to that first place. You know, and that way, if you're somewhere and your wife and kids are somewhere else, you know exactly where you're going to meet. You're going to meet, you know, at the Denny's restaurant, you know, at this location.
That's a good idea.
You know, that way you both know, everyone in the family knows where you're going to meet, and just practice it, you know. Just, you know, split up one day and be driving and see how long it takes you to get there. You know, like I said, not being prepared is the worst thing you can do. You know, it doesn't take long to be prepared, and it's something that could save your life someday. Exactly.
So have a plan of where you're going to go. And we keep talking wildfire, but I mean, this goes for, I guess October is the Great Shakeout.
Yeah,
is that right?
For earthquake. Yeah,
earthquake.
October 17th.
We'll be talking about that in October. So there's that. There's flash flooding, which I guess, you know, that's a greater chance at this point right now, because we've had so much rain lately that now we've got this big wave of rain that's going to be coming in here throughout the Labor Day weekend. So that's all going to be run up. So flash flooding, something you have to take into consideration. House fires. I mean, you guys respond to house fires all the time.
Yeah, we
you never know.
Every 14 hours, you know, we have a house fire, and you know, a lot of it is people just being careless, usually with smoking, smoking inside their house, and carelessness with that, overloading electrical outlets. You know, not watching their kids who are playing with lighters a lot of times. You know, so we're just, you know, really preaching for people to just keep an eye out on things, especially over a holiday weekend, you know, where you might have friends or family over, and, you know, drinking might be involved, and, you know, just make sure that you're taking those precautions.
We're not asking people to be paranoid.
No.
We just want to say, what if?
Yeah, exactly.
Just what if something like this should happen?
Yeah, and you know, if you're lighting candles, you know, be extremely cautious about that, especially, you know, at nighttime. If you're, you know, lighting candles and then going to bed, you know, that's usually when we'll see fires as well, as people will forget about that lit candle, and you know, the dog will bump into the table, or you know, the kid will think it's a toy, and
now you've got yourself a little mini disaster.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, this looks really simple to get a hold of. All this stuff looks very simple to get a hold of.
Yeah, exactly. And the other beauty is, you know, we have a whole line of apps.
You know what? Let's take a quick break.
Okay.
When we come back, we'll do the apps, because I do want to make sure we talk about those, because those would be really handy to have on your phone. Brian Gomez from the Red Cross is in studio today. RedCross.org is the website. All this stuff is on there, and then 1-800-RED Cross is also a number you can use to get in touch with the Red Cross. I'm Paul David. This is Countywide. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Having a fire escape plan is very important to keep your family safe and together in the event of a fire. When you awake to the sound of a smoke detector and smoke in your room, don't stand straight up. Carefully roll off your bed and stay low under the smoke. If your door is shut, feel the door with the back of your hand. Slowly open the door if no heat is felt. Always stay low until you get to the outside of your home. Always have 2 ways out of your house and a specified meeting place somewhere outside your home. Home escape plans should be drawn up and rehearsed on a regular basis This could be the difference between life and death if caught in a fire.
Here in northern Arizona and throughout Yavapai County, people count on Orkin Pest Control. With over 100 years of combined experience, nobody knows how to protect your home or your business from harmful or annoying pests like the Orkin Man. To start service, contact your Northern Arizona Orkin Pest Control. In the Verde Valley, call 567-5100 or Orkin Pest Control in the Prescott area at 775-8772.
Move over, AZ. Arizona's move over law requires you to move over or slow down when you drive past any vehicle pulled over with flashing lights. Any vehicle means emergency responders, roadside assistance, law enforcement, highway crews, even stranded motorists. Ignore the law and you could pay a fine. Remember, every vehicle, every time. Move over, AZ.
Sponsored by ADOT in partnership with the Arizona Broadcasters Association and this station.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and get them to a hospital immediately. Learn the body language and spot a stroke fast.
Welcome back to Countywide. We've got a couple minutes left in the program. Brian Gomez from the Red Cross in studio today. RedCross.org is where you can go on the website and find out all of what we're talking about today, as well as National Preparedness Month, which is all of September. And then we did mention October is the Great Shakeout. So I guess we're trying to get Arizonans prepared just in case there's an earthquake, because we have some big faults here. Real quick, before we get to the apps, we've talked about the 3 Ps in the past. We did talk about pills, pets. Something else you want to make sure you take with you right away is papers and pictures that are important.
Yeah, those, pictures are something that, pictures or whatever valuables, you can't replace those. I mean, those are things that that are, basically timeless. You can replace everything in your house other than basically those personal mementos.
Those frozen moments in time. So papers, I would imagine Social Security cards, birth certificates, anything that proves who you are and that you own this property and things of that nature.
And it's a good idea. Keep it in a safe. Keep it in a full manila envelope or a folder where you can easily get it, and you're not having to scramble all over your house or all over your desk looking for every single document.
Keep that stuff in one of those fireboxes with the that lock.
Exactly.
So we can just snatch that up.
Exactly.
Let's get to your apps real quick. We've got about a minute and a half left.
Yeah,
so
we have a whole line of apps at the Red Cross. We have an earthquake app. We have a hurricane app. We have a wildfire app. A tornado app, even a first aid app.
Just general first aid stuff.
Yeah, if you cut your finger, if you burn your hand, if you sit on a cactus, any
Heaven
sort
forbid.
of just little thing, rather than going online and having to do an extensive search on how to treat it. It's right there at your fingertips, and you can. They tell you exactly how to treat it, and it's not gonna replace. If you're seriously injured, go to the ER.
Right.
But for just little minor things like that, and even our wildfire app, tracking wildfires, tracking earthquakes, and they give you tips as well on what to do, like after an earthquake hits, or what to do as a tornado or as a hurricane is approaching. So and it's the tornado and the earthquake. It doesn't happen a lot here, but a lot of people have loved ones in other states, and it's really cool. And partnering with the National Weather Service and being able to track these storms.
Well, we've had them here. We've had tornadoes, we've had earthquakes. Just a couple of years ago, we had both. So, Brian Gomez, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Let's get everybody prepared month of September.
Sounds like a plan. Yeah, prepare yourself and your family.
That's right. RedCross.org or 1-800-RED-CROSS for more information. I'm Paul David. Brian Gomez from the Red Cross, our guest today. We'll talk to you again next time.
This has been Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Listen in each Tuesday and Thursday as we tackle the hot topics and talk to the decision makers across Yavapai County. That's Countywide with Brad Miller and Paul David each Tuesday and Thursday on this Yavapai Broadcasting station.